Hey everybody, welcome back to another Lab Notes, and this is where we're going to take a look at some of the recent 3D printing news that affects our home 3D printing labs and beyond. Now, one of my biggest issues with 3D printing slicers is when I'm trying to paint models for multicolor printing. And I think there's something ironic about pain being in the word paint, but even worse is when I realize after I've painted everything that I really should have cut a part out, or separated it or something, because then the entire model ends up unpainted. Why? Well, that's why I wanted to mention, and I'm pretty excited about this newest OrcaSlicer alpha version 2.4.0. And they have a new setting that's going to fix all of our painting problems, for the most part. You can find this in your preferences under developer settings, and right now it's labeled experimental, but I have tried a number of different models and it works great. Now, while I was testing this out, I also noticed that when you undo a cut and try again, well, the cut line now stays in the same spot you were instead of resetting, and I don't know if that's new too. I did check Bamboo Studio and it still doesn't do that, so hopefully that'll come as well. Anyway, back to painting. With this setting, your model's going to keep your paint job no matter whether you cut it, split it, boolean, reload, fix, or simplify or whatever. And yeah, it's slow, but it's really worth it. I can't wait till this is out of experimental and just a standard default setting. Now, there's also something new called Z contouring, and it's also known as Z anti-aliasing. And this is going to smooth your curved and sloped top surfaces by changing the Z height that's inside a specific layer. And it's not for flat prints, but, for all those others. And well, it should help your prints look smoother and less stair-step. They do say it's not for every model, so you'll have to test this out. And you're going to find that under the expert mode, and it adds a lot of different things that you can change and all sorts of settings. So take a look at that. There's also something else I really didn't know I needed, and that's an optimized gyroid infill. Now, this tries to auto-tune the gyroid pattern by different model regions, and it'll adjust for density, line spacing, layer height, and so on. So instead of just one size pattern that's going to fill your entire model, it changes the pattern size as needed. And depending on your percentage of infill, this could make your print stronger and maybe even faster. And they're still going to allow the normal gyroid infill to stay there as well. Now, there's about 100 new features and bug fixes, way too many to mention. There are, though, a few more that I wanted to kind of highlight that I liked a lot. Like, for instance, combined brims. And that option makes all the objects on the plate have one continuous brim, and that's going to hopefully give better bed adhesion. And fuzzy skin even got an update. The new ripple mode, it's going to give you real control over all of that instead of that old random noisy look. Because now you can make a repeatable textured finish with settings like waves per layer, offset, and layers between offset. This is one that definitely going to have to play with a lot. And to top all that off, they have now introduced Orca Cloud. And no, they're not trying to control your prints, so calm down. Orca Cloud is optional. It's an online profile system, and this is going to sync your printer, filament, and process profiles across all your machines. It's there to keep a version history, let you roll back if one needs to be changed or brought back, and it supports preset bundles with descriptions, images, and metadata and all that. So think of it as a backup database for all your printer's info. But the coolest feature, at least to me, is that anybody can upload profiles for 3D printers, like maybe my Snapmaker U1, and then everybody can use those profiles. And I think we can expect to see printer and filament profiles for practically every brand out there very soon, and that's very cool. Now, speaking of filament, weird question for you. You know those green, scratchy, heavy wool blankets that have been around since World War I or before? Well, have you ever wondered if you could make filament out of that? No? Well, a New Zealand company, two of them actually, Wool Source and Kiwi Fill, they just launched a new 3D printing filament called Woolly Fill. And yeah, they're using wool. I really wanted to see a wool filament here, but they're actually just using the wool as a pigment base for coloring. And I don't really understand how all that works, but it's definitely not what I thought it was going to be when I first saw this story. The base from the wool is for the coloring, and they're actually going to be using recycled PLA as the main source of the PLA with that wool-derived colorant all mixed in. Anyway, Wool Source says it uses about 92 to 98% bio-based carbon content, which means most of it comes from a renewable source, not fossil fuels. And they also say the pigment system can be used in bioplastics and other inks. So it's bigger than just 3D printing. I even saw they're planning to use it in color inks and even for screen printing. So we'll see how that all turns out. KiwiFill says that the main goal was it has to work with regular desktop 3D printing users, which is great for us, hopefully down the road. Unfortunately, right now it only comes in two colors, green marble and riverstone, and that riverstone is a grayish color. You can buy it on kiwifill.shop. And the 1 kilo spool is around 59 New Zealand dollars, and that's depending on transfers and exchange rates, should be about 35 US dollars. So we'll see how all of that pans out. So while the real story isn't a wool-filled 3D print, it is a really new way to color filament with a renewable material. And that hopefully means at some point lower prices for decent recycled filament. And oh yeah, I should also point out it's only in New Zealand for right now, but hopefully the hobbits will get to work and we get some in the rest of the world soon. Well, that's it for now, so please check out my other videos for more info and fun. And just a question, was anybody else hoping you could 3D print a wool blanket? Just me, maybe? I don't know. Well, anyway, whether it's printing with crazy materials or cutting a painted model and not losing our minds, let's keep having fun with 3D printing as we learn, create, and amaze.